You are listening to an audio version of the book, Infinity and Paradox. This audiobook is about a journey that begins upstream of existence itself and ends with the contemplative acceptance of the human condition, in particular, the subjective integrity of each one. It is a journey that goes from the absolute to the relative, whose driving force is telescopic, and invites the listener to make several intermediate stops to reflect on suffering, reality, identity, art, and more. There are 252 texts divided into 20 chapters that help to form a whatever perspective on the infinite. This is a book of understandings to use as a shoe sole. Chapter 1: Introduction.
Here. Where there's not somebody. And that's why there's nobody. Here's over there, is anyone there? And says, there ain't no one. The false is that which has no use. The real is what has use. With lots of light, we close our eyes. In low light, we open our eyes. Either way, we see nothing. True light is the one that serves. About what is, I have to say, that the content of what I say is equal to the content of what I don't say. To not listening to what I say is to be all ears. How to interpret what I say, when I don't know what I'm talking about? To speak the silence is all I have to say. When ideas come to me, they are simple, but when I write them, they become complex. The depth of these ideas is equal to how much you shine a light on them. From the idea that comes to me to the idea that you understand, goes a filled range. Full. All emptiness. I don't do philosophy. I do what precedes philosophy. I work out the infinite and the paradox. This is the last idea they can steal from me. After that, only the feeling. To start this whole process of knowledge acquisition, there will have to be the questioning. The question is the beginning. If I keep myself always, relentlessly questioning everything, there will, always, be something else to assimilate, and to gain weight with. Anyway. Certainty is law, because if I continue to question like that, I will remain without knowing. It is necessary to exercise incompleteness, and to rehearse this virtue often. A made-up story is so real, the more real we think it is. A true story is so false, the more false we think it is. Thinking is imagining a dialogue. It doesn't matter if it's false or real, because in both ways we imagine. There are people who don't like liars at all. What's the harm when you don't discover the lie? Honest people complain about the advantage that liars take over their victims. However, the senses themselves deceive us too. We understandably admit, but further imply, that we should not deceive each other. People are all just a set of senses. We are our physiological senses, together with the most important sense of all. The sense of the self. To teach me, I need no one. Diligent, I'll find out for myself. Accordingly, I learn to discover that to learn I need someone. Life after death is all the knowledge that was first ignorance. When I dream of someone I don't know, in a nightmare, the unknowable deals with me. I lead accompanied by the ego, which is devoured by non-existence. I am. And the known teaches me just that. The cognitive mechanism we most value now is the ability to reason. However, cognition with direct connection to the source is the feeling. In addition to this, the most sophisticated mechanism is the memory of the future. Divination is the act of discerning the memory of the divine dream, the eternal destiny. There is wild nature, there is human nature, and there is nature with capital N. The first is the opposite of human nature. The second, and the third, are those of which we are a part. But it's nature with capital N that teaches us. Meanwhile, human nature serves only as a pretext to brag about, naturally. There are themes that not everyone understands. Are there themes that no one comprehends? There are experiences that not everyone will have. Are there experiences that everyone will live? Whatever it is, beautiful and amazing, that each one of us can experience. Whether in a professional career, in a sport or on a trip. Whatever important lesson it is, and who thinks it is pertinent to share. It will never be more than when someone says, "I think I read or saw it on TV once." These words don't always sound good, but whoever tries to read them tomorrow may have an unexpected revelation. For those who read them a day later may find it ridiculous again. On a certain day, they could be an oracle. On other days, just innocuous. That's how it is, because they are transparent. Hence, they reflect the spirit of those who read them. These words have life, they are tentacles of an organism. The universe is a mechanism that presents us with gifts. Sometimes, making us interesting, other times amnesiac, making us insignificant. For revelations we are beggars, but always transparent, even in denial. As we are transparent, it reads itself, the organism. All these words try to describe the pencil that is time, and the paper sheet that is space. Who on this score reads this tempo should know that this trip is about the experience of the divine in being divine, is about the experience of the divine in being human, and it is about the experience of the human in being human. The first is about the blank sheet. The second is about the hand that holds it, and the third is about the other hand who writes in it. Thus, overwhelming is the magnitude of the unity. Incomprehensible is the transformation of duality, and perpetual is the stability of the Trinity. The latter originates the quest for morality, which is the fantasy that it is achievable the human being to be divine one day. This is impossible, because we already are, before we become who we are. We are, and never were. Because here, everything is present.
Thank you for listening to the end. Support this work if you liked it. You can buy the book on Amazon, where you can download the digital copy and have the physical book delivered to your address. Look for seasonal promotions and discounts.